Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today we are going to solve kinematics numerical problem. First of all, we need to have a look at these formulas. The equations of motion are first equation of motion is V is equal to U plus AT. Second equation of motion has two different forms. How to remember that अगर ut है it will be with a plus. Both are same actually. दोनों की derivation last time I shared with you. तो ut होगा it will be plus half at square और vt होगा final velocity then it will be minus half at square. Right? Clear? Then third equation of motion. Third equation of motion is so special कि इसमें कोई time involved नहीं है. The only formula where there is no time. तो जब भी कोई ऐसा क्वेश्चन हो जहां टाइम इन्वॉल्व नहीं है कैलकुलेशन में तो प्रेफर दिस although the most important formula will be this. There is another form. As you know, average velocity is equal to distance of time. Then average velocity is average of initial and final velocity. How do you find the average? You add both the values and divide by 2. Right, beta ji? Before we start solving these numericals, beta, if anything is falling freely, then its acceleration will be equal to acceleration of free fall or gravitational acceleration. And in A level, we take it as 9.81. O level में खाली 9.8 लेते थे. Now it is 9.81 meter per second square. But one thing you should keep it in mind, if the object is falling down, then the speed will be increasing. And when speed is increasing, we take acceleration to be positive. We take it as positive 9.81 meter per second square. But if the object is rising freely, means only gravity is acting on it, that it's in rising its speed will be decreasing. So it will be a negative acceleration. We take acceleration to be minus g means minus 9.81 meter per second square. Right? Clear? So let us start solving these questions. Question number 1. A jet plane takes off when he reaches the speed of 50 km per hour. Its maximum acceleration is 4 meter per second square. Then find the minimum length of the runway required. So please solve and share the answer with me. जी बेटा. जी, any suggestion?
सर 38 है आंसर.
No.
I got 86.8 meters.
I'm afraid it's not correct as well.
Sir, 24.
I'm not sure, maybe, but still I'm doubtful. So let's try. First of all, the speed is in kilometers per hour. Acceleration is meters per second square. For synchronization, we need to convert that 50 kilometer per hour into meters per second. How do we convert? We will divide it by 3.6. And the answer will be 3.8888, which can be rounded off to 3.9. We want to find the length. Length means distance. And always he is to reach this speed, this is final speed, and it will always start from the rest. And we have to find distance, no mention of time there. So the only formula we can use here, where there is no formula, there is no time involved, 2ax is equal to v square minus u square. Now, substituting the values, acceleration is 4, distance we have to find, the final speed is going to be 13.9 whole square, and as it will always start from 0. So who has done the same as I have done? And can you please share the answer with me? Maybe any one of you is correct. 24 looks to be very close. Check it
It's
out, please.
24,
20,
24.2.
very right. So whose answer was 24 is correct. Well answered. Can we move to the next part?
Yes, sir.
Ji beta, is it clear? Ji. Okay, beta D.
Yes,
For the
sir.
rest
Clear.
students, should we move to the next? Okay. The question number 2. Question number 2 says, a brick is dropped from 80-meter height from rest. At what speed and time does it reach the ground? There is no air resistance involved here. And one thing you have to keep in mind, the acceleration will be acceleration of free fall. That is 9.81. This is the easiest of the questions. Question number 2.
Sir, 4 seconds.
Right, correct. You have to find the speed as well.
Sir, 39.6.
Very good. And
Yes,
time,
sir. Same. 39.6.
and time will be 4 seconds. So we can do it in many ways, let me tell you. It's not necessarily that we use one or second or third equation. You can do it any order. So how would you suggest how do you solve this question? The brick is drawn from 80-meter height, so we know the distance, and we know from rest the initial velocity is 0 and acceleration is 9.81. So the final speed we have to find. So we can use this equation. Acceleration will be 9.81, distance is 80, final speed we have to find, and initial will be 0. It's not necessarily that we are to do this, we can do or change over order. We can find the time first as well, choice is yours. When you find the V to be 39.6, don't forget the unit meters per second, then we can use any one or the second equation to find time. We could have used second equation firstly to find the time as well. Choice is yours. The final speed is 39.6, initial 0, acceleration is 9.81, and now you can find the time. that will be 4 seconds. Right? Clear? So can I remove it, beta?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now I will be waiting for you to answer the question. Look at the question number three. Question number three says a stone is dropped from a very high cliff from rest at time zero. Calculate the distance covered between time 3 seconds to 4 seconds. Air resistance is negligible, right? Can you please share the answer with me?
34.34 meters.
Very close. I'm waiting for others. They reach the same result or not?
Sir, I have the same answer, 34.3.
Okay, very good. Ji, Surosh, will you explain how did you reach the answer?
We know that initial velocity is zero,
Very good.
acceleration is gravity, is gravitational acceleration,
And we know the velocity and we know the acceleration is gravitational 9.81 and we are
and we
given
are given
time.
the time.
Okay, so how did you reach this formula you use?
I use the second formula.
Second
S is
formula.
equal
Okay,
to UT.
very good, correctly. Now, can you suggest the values to be substituted?
We substitute the initial velocity, acceleration, and time will be 4 seconds.
Ji beta, can you hear me? And tell me again, how would you use the formulas?
So initial velocity is 0. We substitute time for 4 seconds.
4 seconds. Acceleration will be 9.81 and again the time will be 4 seconds. So is that all?
So that is for the first distance at time is equal to 4 seconds.
So that will be distance
Then we
covered
will
during
subtract
first 4
from
seconds.
then we subtract from the distance when time was 3 seconds.
Okay, so we should have first calculated the time, distance covered first 3 seconds because we know the only initial velocity. So we have always to start from the zero time from zero to till time. We will first find the distance covered during first 3 seconds. We will call it as S1. Then we will find the total distance covered in first 4 seconds. That will be S2. The distance between 3 and 4 intervals, interval 3 second to 4 second, will be equal to S2 minus S1. Right, beta ji? Clear? Ji, Amna, is it clear, beta?
जी सर.
Okay. Now let's move to the better questions. Question number 4. I hope you can see the question number 4. Can I remove it? Number 3.
Yes,
Ji
sir, you can
beta.
remove it.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now beta, question number 4. Now better questions are coming. Question number 4 says a ball is thrown vertically upward, stays in the air for 4 seconds before reaching back to the ground. Find the maximum height it reach. Again, air resistance is negligible in all these. जी बेटा. I'm waiting for you to answer. Let's see who answers it correct.
I got 19.62 meters.
Mhm. Let's wait for the others. जी बेटा.
Sir, I got 19.6.
Okay, correct one. Beta, will you explain? Khadija, how did you do that?
Yes, sir. Since the ball is thrown vertically, so to reach the maximum height that it reaches, it must have taken half the time that it stayed in the air. So 4 divided by 2 would be 2. And we substitute that into V equals to U plus AT. And then we get the initial, speed. And then after that, I use the formula of V square equals to U square plus 2AS.
Very, very right. But we can do it in single formula as well. As it is set now, it stays for 4 seconds in air. So in during its journey, it will rise and then it will have a fall, right? The time taken to rise is equal to time taken to fall. For total 4 seconds means it will take 2 seconds to rise and 2 seconds to fall. Now, when it's rising, we do not know the initial speed, but we know the final speed will be zero. So for rising, we know clear हो गया था सुबह the final speed is zero here. And when rising, speed is decreasing. So the acceleration will be 9.81. But when it is falling, one thing we are sure, its initial speed will be zero and its speed will be increasing. So acceleration will be positive or simply 9.81. So as in rising, acceleration is negative and in falling, acceleration is positive. Beta, these equation of motion are said to be equation of uniform acceleration. These equation of motion are said to be equation of uniform acceleration. It means they can be applied to one acceleration, constant acceleration only. So here the acceleration is rising and then falling. It means we can use either of side. So I'm going to share two answers. If we consider the movement of rising, then I will prefer, as we know the final velocity, the formula, this one. As we know the final velocity is zero, acceleration is minus 9.81. Answer will be or fall? If we consider fall, beta, we are having azan. Let the azan be completed for a minute. जी beta ji. So we can use the falling movement as well. Then the time is again, you see, will be the 2. During fall, the acceleration is positive and time again 2 seconds. Again, the answer will be same. You have to do any one of those, not both of them, right? Clear? Done, beta ji?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The question number 5. The student who have not attempted this question first before will be a genius to solve this question number 5. Ji beta, can I remove this question? Can I remove the solution, beta?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let's discuss question number 5. The best of the questions, I would say. So from a helicopter rising vertically, rising means moving upward at 8 meter per second. A bag is dropped from a height of 80 meters. How long will it take to reach the ground? जी बेटा जी, any idea?
I have time is equal to 5.83 seconds.
Your answer is perfect. I'm waiting for others to respond. जी बेटा जी, any idea?
Sir, 5.828.
Okay, Hassan, you explain me. How did you reach? This was the best of the question. Let me tell you, Khadija, if you will be doing it normal ways, you will need to at least use maybe four formulas. But these two students know how to solve this using one formula. And it is told, Ji beta ji. Hassan, please explain how did you solve it?
सर एस इज इक्वल टू यूटी प्लस हाफ एटी स्क्वायर फार्मूला यूज़ किया है।
Ji.
एस 120 मीटर्स था, और जो टाइम था वो हमने फाइंड करना था। जो इनिशियल वेलोसिटी थी उसको मैंने -8 लिया क्योंकि हेलीकॉप्टर ऊपर की तरफ जा रहा था, और बैग
Okay,
उन्होंने वहां से रिलीज किया। और जो
okay.
एक्सेलरेशन है वो 9.81 है। और बाकी फिर मैथ्स जो क्वाड्रेटिक इक्वेशन बनती है उसको सॉल्व करके टी की वैल्यू आ जाती है।
Very right. Uh, Ji, Suroj, would you like to change anything?
No, I also did the same.
Okay. So, beta, now, Khadija, for you. Beta, how we are going to do this? Actually, the helicopter was initially rising, moving upward. So the initial velocity was upward, and the displacement is to be covered downward. The gravitational acceleration is in the direction of gravity, that is also downward. So, beta, this equation can be solved in one step. If we take the quantities as vector quantities, the acceleration and velocities only. Time is always a scalar. So vector quantities can be positive or negative both, right? So,
Yes, sir.
so the opposite direction can be represented at opposite sign. Choice is yours. So I take the upward quantities to be taken to be positive and downward ones with to be negative. Now you solve it. Any way you get the answer will be the same. 9.81 divided by 2 will give you 9.4 4.905 or 91 you can write as well. Choice is yours. Now you have to find t. You can rearrange it to as a quadratic equation. That's minus 4.9 t square on the other side will become positive. 8 positive 80 will turn to negative, and minus 120 will stay at its position. Now you can solve it as quadratic equation. So this will be the A minus 8 will be the B, and minus 120. So you will get two answers for T. One will be negative, the other will be positive. And as time is never negative, so you will reject the negative answer, and the positive answer will be 5.8203 seconds. Right? Clear? Can you note it down, please?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Otherwise, it's not like that you can do this question in only one way. No, not at all. In fact, if you are to do conventionally, then you have to consider as the helicopter was rising, so the object, everything kept inside the rocket was having the same rising speed. So when the bag was the part of rocket, helicopter, sorry, so it would be rising with the helicopter as well. So on dropping, it will not go straight way downward. It will first rise and will stop at maximum height, then it will start falling, and then it was dropped when the helicopter was at a height of 120. Then it will first further move have to move through 120-meter downward. So you have to calculate time from to reach the maximum height, then back to the actual height, and then further time for 120. So at least four formula I reckon you will use. But using this one same makes the work a bit you can smaller, but it's not that easy, I would say. It's technical one. Can I remove it, Beta? Let's move to the last question. Can I remove? The
Yes,
last
sir.
question I will explain myself.
Okay.
That is a past paper question as it is. So, due to the shortage of time, sorry for this. Let me solve that question. A train moving at speed v applies brakes and stops after covering a distance x. This is stopping distance. If the train speed of the train is increased by 20%, the initial speed, obviously now it is faster. How much the train travel before coming to rest, given the braking force and deceleration stay the same? Means again you apply the brakes, and now you have to find how long will it travel before reaching coming to rest, right? So the only hints, the main point, the braking force and deceleration, acceleration stay the same. We are not given any number. The answer will be in terms of x, let me tell you. So the main information was given in one sentence means we have to use this. As it says the acceleration stays same, it means we can find acceleration from the first information, the first line, and then substitute for the second. So let us move on. No hint of time. So the formula we will be using will be without time. That will be third equation of motion. The acceleration is same and we have to find. The distance is x. The final speed is 0 and it will stop. The initial speed now it has named it as v. So that can be technical for the students. Some initial speed they have named it to vv, what we used to use as final velocity. So 0 doesn't make any difference, and acceleration it will be minus v square and 2x multiplying will divide. This will give us the value of acceleration, right? Now we will use, next time it says we increase the initial speed by 20%. That is technical. When we say the velocity is increased by 20%, so what percent it was actually? Actually, the full percent, the actual percent is said to be 100%. And when we say we increase it by 2%, 20%, means now the new velocity will be 120% of what it was actually initially. So mathematically, 120 divided by 100 is equal to 1.2 v. So now the initial velocity is 1.2 times v, means 120% of v. Now we will use again the third equation of motion, and we have to find the stopping distance as this time. Now we know the acceleration as it says the same. So we will substitute the value of acceleration here. That is minus v square over 2x, and new distance we have to find. The final speed will be 0 as is to stop. The new initial speed will be 1.2 times the v. Now this 2 will be cancelled. 0 doesn't make any difference. 1 minus 1.2 square will be 1.44, and v square as well, as we have to find the distance. This minus v square over x will be moved to the other side as minus x over v square. The x dividing will multiply, and v minus v square multiplying will divide. Both minus will be cancelled. V square cancelled with v square, minus with cancelled with minus, and the final answer is this. Right, beta? Clear?
Yes, sir.